Excuses are the easiest thing in the world to create because they don't cost you anything in the moment, but they rob you of everything in the long run. They are comfortable, they are soft, and they protect your ego from the truth. The truth is you're not where you want to be because of the choices you've made and the lies you've told yourself. Every time you say you don't have time, you're really saying it doesn't matter enough to you. Every time you say you're too tired, you're really saying you'd rather stay weak than push through. Every excuse you make is just another brick you stack in the prison that keeps you from the life you claim you want. You think you're avoiding pain by making excuses, but you're just trading short-term comfort for long-term suffering. One day, all those excuses you've built will crush you when you look back and realize you wasted years hiding behind them when you stop lying to yourself. You start to see how destructive excuses really are. Excuses are a slow death. They kill your potential one day at a time. They convince you that tomorrow will be different, that somehow you'll find the motivation later, that conditions will line up perfectly. But conditions never line up. Tomorrow never comes. The people who are strong, the people who break through, are the ones who stop waiting for the perfect time. They move forward in the storm, not when the sun is shining. They train in the cold, they work when they're exhausted, they grind when nobody is watching. Excuses are the difference between the person who dreams and the person who becomes. One says someday, the other says today. Which one are you? Excuses don't come from strength, they come from weakness. They come from fear, from insecurity, from not wanting to face the mirror. When you create excuses, you're protecting yourself from failure, but the reality is you're guaranteeing failure. You're making failure permanent because you never even step into the fight. You have to understand that excuses don't protect you, they poison you. They feel good in the moment because they let you off the hook, but the longer you live with them, the more they eat away at your confidence. Every time you make an excuse, you're telling yourself you're not capable. You're training your mind to believe you're fragile, that you can't handle struggle. And when life really tests you, when things fall apart, you won't have the mental strength to rise up because you've been practicing weakness for years. You can't negotiate with excuses. The second you give them space, they'll take over your life. You can't give yourself an out. You can't say, I'll try, or I'll see how I feel. You have to make the decision that there is no way out, that you will do it no matter what. When you remove the option of quitting, when you take away the excuse before it even forms, you unlock a level of power you didn't know you had. You stop being a victim of your circumstances, and you start being the master of them. Excuses only survive in people who are willing to tolerate them. The moment you set a standard that you don't accept excuses from yourself, you begin to transform. You start keeping promises to yourself, and that builds the kind of self-respect that can't be shaken. People will feed you excuses too. They'll tell you to take it easy, that you've done enough, that you deserve a break. They'll project their weakness onto you because your effort makes them uncomfortable. If you let their excuses become your excuses, you'll live the same average life they do. You have to shut that noise out. You have to decide that no excuse from yourself or from anyone else has power over you. When people see you grind while they quit, when they see you show up while they sleep in, they'll either hate you or respect you. But either way, you'll be moving forward and they'll be standing still. Don't expect support when you're crushing excuses. Expect resistance, because the world is full of people who would rather protect their comfort than face the truth. Excuses don't just stop you from achieving goals, they stop you from discovering who you really are. You'll never know your true capacity until you push past the point where excuses scream the loudest. That's the point where growth lies. That's the point where you find out you're capable of more than you ever believed. But you'll never touch that place if you stop every time it gets uncomfortable. Excuses will tell you to stop at 40% of your potential and make you believe that's your limit. But it's not. It's just the limit of your excuses. The human body, the human mind, They're designed to endure, to adapt, to grow stronger under pressure. You're carrying around a version of yourself that's hidden under years of excuses, and you'll never meet that version until you stop hiding behind lies. The people who inspire, the people who dominate, are not people who never felt like making excuses. They're people who felt like quitting, who had every reason to stop, but chose not to. They faced the same pain, the same setbacks, the same doubts, but they decided their excuses would not define them. They pushed through when it made no sense. They trained when it hurt. They worked when it was boring. And because they did, they discovered levels of greatness that excuses can never touch. If they can do it, so can you, but it starts with a decision. You either choose the easy path of excuses, or you choose the hard path of growth. One leads to regret, the other leads to strength. The choice is yours. You have to get brutally honest with yourself. Write down every excuse you've been using. Too tired, too busy, not enough money, not enough time, injuries, no support, all of it. Stare at that list and realize those words are the reason you're stuck. Then cross every single one out and make a decision that you will never use them again. That's how you take your power back. Excuses are like oxygen for weakness. Stop feeding them and they die. The moment you strip them from your life, you expose yourself to the raw truth. And in that truth is the chance to build strength like never before. It's not easy, but it's simple. Stop saying why you can't and start proving that you can. Pain is the teacher that nobody wants, but everybody needs. The truth is growth never comes wrapped in comfort. Growth demands you step into the fire. It demands you bleed, sweat, and suffer for it. The reason so many people stay stuck at the same level year after year is because they keep running from pain. They think if they avoid it, they're saving themselves, but what they're really doing is staying the same. Pain is the toll you have to pay to cross the bridge into a stronger version of yourself. You cannot bypass it, you cannot cheat it, you cannot escape it. The more you try to run from it, the more it controls you. The only way forward is through your body and mind are built to adapt to stress, but only if you expose them to it. Just like lifting weights, resistance is what forces growth. You don't build strength without tearing muscle fibers. You don't build endurance without putting your lungs on fire. You don't build toughness without testing your limits. The process is ugly, it hurts, but on the other side of that pain is transformation. Most people tap out the moment pain shows up, which means they never get to see what's possible. They quit at the doorway to growth. They walk away right before the breakthrough. If you want to be different, you have to push past that point where everything in you screams to stop. That's where change happens. That's where you find the strength you never knew was in you. Pain is not your enemy, it's your ally. It doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to shape you. Every time you endure, every time you refuse to quit, pain forges something inside you that cannot be built any other way. It builds resilience, grit, and an unshakable mind. It makes you dangerous to obstacles because nothing breaks you the way it breaks the average person. Pain becomes your fuel. It becomes your reminder that you are alive, that you are in the fight, that you are earning every inch of progress. Without it, victories would mean nothing. They'd be cheap, and cheap victories never change a person. The ones that matter are the ones you suffer for, the ones that cost you everything and force you to find a way when you thought there was none. You can't fake strength. You can't buy it, you can't talk your way into it, you can't pretend you have it. The only currency that pays for strength is pain. You've got to be willing to suffer more than the person next to you. You've got to be willing to stay in the fire when others won't. You've got to be willing to endure nights of exhaustion, mornings of soreness, days of doubt, and still keep going. Every time you do, you add another layer of armor around your mind. That armor doesn't just protect you in training, it protects you in life. When life blindsides you with loss, setbacks, betrayal, or failure, you don't fall apart because you've already trained yourself to handle the storm. You've been through pain before, and you know it doesn't last forever. You know it bends you, but it doesn't break you. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who were willing to go through hell to get there. They chose to embrace pain as a necessary part of the process. They stopped seeing it as punishment and started seeing it as proof they were on the right path. When you're comfortable, you're not changing. When you're comfortable, you're stagnant. Pain means you're growing. Pain means you're leveling up. That's why the most dangerous thing in the world is a comfortable life. Comfort will rob you of ambition. It will dull your edge. It will make you soft. You should fear comfort more than pain, because comfort kills dreams while pain builds them. When you shift your relationship with pain, you unlock a power that most people never touch. Instead of running from it, you run into it. Instead of avoiding it, you welcome it. That mindset separates you from the crowd. While everyone else is looking for shortcuts, you're putting in the work. While everyone else is crying about how hard it is, you're thriving in the difficulty. You stop seeing pain as suffering and start seeing it as training. Every rep, every mile, every failure, every obstacle becomes an opportunity to get better. It's all a test, and if you pass enough tests, you become unstoppable. You become someone who no longer fears struggle, because struggle is the arena where you thrive. You have to start asking yourself, how much pain am I willing to endure for the life I want? Because the answer to that question is the limit of your potential. If you're only willing to go a little bit into the discomfort, you'll get a little bit of change. If you're willing to go deep, if you're willing to bleed, sweat, and break yourself down, then rebuild again and again, you'll find a version of yourself you never imagined. Pain is the filter. It separates the ones who say they want it from the ones who prove they want it. Everyone talks about success, but only those who suffer for it get it. Everyone talks about being great, but only those who are willing to pay in pain ever become great. The truth is, you'll never be done with pain. No matter how strong you get, no matter how far you go, there will always be another level. And with every level, there's new pain waiting. That's not a curse, that's a gift. Because as long as you're feeling pain, you're alive, you're pushing, you're climbing. Pain is the evidence that you haven't settled. It's the proof that you're still chasing the next version of yourself. And when you learn to embrace that, when you learn to live inside that fire, there's nothing life can throw at you that you can't handle. Pain is not the end, it's the path. It's not something to be feared, it's something to be respected, something to be used, something to be conquered again and again.